Bob, we heard the thunder right as the show was getting ready to start.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And another round of storms moving in. A couple of, they're moving quickly, though. That's a good thing. So they're not going to stick around very long, and it'll produce some moderate to heavy rainfall and some lightning. Dangerous lightning, as always. Not like the severe storms we saw over the weekend, but we will get some very heavy rainfall, looks like. Lakewood Ranch webcam, you'll see the first round comes through around 4. Wasn't much to that because most of the rain developed once it moved on through. And now the second round is setting in, and it is heavy. As I mentioned to a photo from that earlier round showing Holmes Beach. Drew sending this one in as a little bit of sun ray coming through the break in the storminess as it moved out into the Gulf of Mexico. So we had one round move through and then another actually moving through after a little bit break in terms of our rainfall. You can see not much at all going on along the east coast. Most of it along the west coast, pushing off to the west and really firing up once it moved into the Gulf. And that's a result of that sea breeze that never really got much further than I-75. It stayed pretty much right here. Normally it gets way into the inland areas and the storms build here, producing a lot more rainfall and then move off to the west. But now that second round is developing. I mentioned Lakewood Ranch. We're also getting it at Fruitville all the way down to Bee Ridge now. Some very heavy rainfall, and even Northport. That cluster of showers starting to develop a little bit more. So it has crossed the I-75 corridor there and continues to move off to the west, northwest at around 15 to 20 miles an hour. Some times for the actual beginning of the heavy rainfall for Woodfield Estates right around 6:34. Bayshore Gardens a little bit later than that, and near Southgate just in a few minutes from now. So get ready for some very heavy rainfall right there with the occasional lightning strikes. This is just kind of flared up. So Northport, Port Charlotte, places to the west. This will expand in coverage, I believe, and eventually clip parts of Venice, Englewood, and maybe as far north as Nokomis. What's happened is that area of low pressure that produced that catastrophic flooding over Louisiana has been absorbed by a cold front. There's still an area of low pressure there, but not nearly as concentrated, and it's really not grabbing that moisture in from the Gulf any longer. We have had that strong easterly wind here, still high pressure at the surface just off the Carolina coast, which will provide us with that east to northeast wind. And you can see a little bit of a sea breeze has developed near the airport. 88 degrees now. Just about an hour ago, it was 96 degrees, and that was the high today. That tied the old mark of 1990 when it topped out at 96. Our average high at 90, and this morning's low was at 79 degrees. No rainfall at 5 o'clock up to that point, but they did get a brief shower just about an hour ago. 90 degrees in Jacksonville. It's 87 in Orlando. 88 degrees now in Miami. And temperatures cooler somewhat in Arcadia, where it did rain a little bit. And Lakewood Ranch, although 90 now, they're cooling down as that rain is falling. So they'll be down into the low 80s here before long, if not already. With this front still to the west of us, that high pressure is going to dominate the weather off the Carolina coast, which will keep us in that afternoon and evening storm period. Well, the Atlantic's starting to get a little bit more active, and long-range models indicating that this particular model has a good chance of developing in the next 5 days. So even if it were to develop, it appears that it will head off to the open waters of the Atlantic. These are the storms that we really like to see as they move into the open waters of the Atlantic. There are a couple of more waves, though, coming off the coast of Africa, and models are indicating that those will develop as well into tropical systems down the road. So we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, way far away from us. This is an upper level, though. Look at all this dry air, too. This is the dust that's coming off the deserts of Africa, and that's really inhibiting any kind of development nearby. So we don't anticipate any tropical development here for some time. East winds turn to the north at 5 to 10 knots tomorrow. Seas running right around 2 feet. There'll be a light chop on the bays and inland waters. The water temperature now at 87 degrees and a UV index at 9. Tides upcoming, low tide at 6:53 in just a few minutes from now, and sunset at 8:07 tonight. Scattered storms continuing here for the next hour, and then partly cloudy. Tomorrow, rain chance late in the day, 60%, a high of 92, and the extended forecast calling for less of a chance for rain, but still there on Friday and Saturday.